Hey everybody, welcome back to the Wolf Pit with another episode of Eating on a Budget. Unless you've been living under a rock for the past several years, you've been to the grocery store. And as you've noticed while you're in the grocery store, the prices have skyrocketed on everything. And that's when reality sets in and you realize that inflation is real. And it really sucks that hardworking Americans need to bust their butts extra hard and maybe even work an extra job just to feed their families, while Americans have to sit back and watch the US government take care of everyone except Americans. And it starts at the top. Yes, you, our commander-in-sleep. So today I'm going to show you how to make a meal that'll feed your family for a couple bucks, or even in my case, nothing. Well, that was only because I had the stuff on hand in my house. Do you cook at home, you go out to a restaurant, you go to a dinner party, or you go to a friend's house, a steak dinner, a ham dinner, a chicken dinner, a pork dinner, a lobster dinner, a prime rib dinner, or a seafood boil, or many other varieties of meals, has something that most people would call waste when they're done enjoying them as a meal. And they would throw it in the trash and not think twice. And like the old saying goes, what's one man's trash is another man's treasure. And what I'm referring to as the treasures is every one of these meals has bones, fat, skin, or shells that will most likely be tossed in the garbage. I'm not telling you to act like a rabid bear and dig through trash cans for leftovers. I mean, you can do that if you like. I won't judge you. Just use a little common sense. When you're at home, it's easy to do. When you're at a dinner party or a friend's house, ask the host in advance if there's any bones, shells, or skin, or fat that hasn't been gnawed on, if they can put it in a bag for you to take home. If you're in a restaurant, ask for a doggy bag and take whatever leftovers you have on your plate home. People might think that you're gross, tacky, or embarrassing yourself, and they feel sorry for you. The only people they should be feeling sorry for is themselves, for being shallow-minded buffoons. Because inflation and the struggle is real, and you should never, ever, and I mean ever, feel embarrassed for doing what you need to do to feed yourself and your family. And I know there's going to be a scooter out there that's going to say, if these people are struggling so bad, why are they eating such good foods and going out to eat? People get invited to go to places and eat at places they normally couldn't afford because people like them. Maybe if scooters would stop being scooters and being so judgmental, they might get invited somewhere too. In any event, I almost forgot about the purpose of this video. So now I'll hop down off my soapbox and get to the point. And today I'm going to show you how to make what I'm going to call an inflation bone soup. That sounds fancy and delicious already, doesn't it? Well, when you and your family are hungry and struggling, a saltine cracker might sound fancy and delicious. But I can promise you, when we're done making this inflation bone soup, it's going to be hearty, nutritious, and delicious. And it didn't cost me a penny to make. To you, the people, I apologize. I have to jump back up on top of my soapbox just for a minute. I promise you, we're going to make this inflation bone soup in just a second. I'm going to have to reword the part where I said this soup did not cost me a penny to make, because I know there's already a scooter out there thinking, well, you have the ingredients, so you bought them at one point in time. Which this is true, but what I mean by it didn't cost me anything is that I didn't go out to the store and specifically buy something for today's soup. Everything I'm using is either out of my refrigerator, freezer, or pantry. And while we're on the topic of Scooter, I had a couple comments where people were getting tired of the "Hello, this is Scooter, I'm gonna be a dummy today" voice impression, so I've toned it down and just used my regular voice. I like doing the voice impression myself because there's always that one internet know-it-all expert that has to chime in and let you know that every single thing you're doing is wrong. So by me doing the Scooter voice impression, that's my way of poking fun at them to show them how they sound when they think they know everything. I do these videos to make you, the people, happy. So please let me know in the comments if you like the Scooter voice impression or if you'd rather hear it in my regular voice. Okay. I don't know why I'm talking so much in this video today. I'm enjoying this. Talking to you, the people. Do you, the people, enjoy hearing me talk as much as I like talking to you, the people? I've been on a caffeine kick lately, and I think it's starting to show. And I just can't seem to shut up. I think it's about time we go ahead and make this inflation bean soup right now for the people. Scooter, I think you're correct. So now that I'm back off my soapbox, let's make this inflation bone soup. In a large pot, pan, or other cooking vessel, add 1 gallon of water. Next, I'm going to add a ham bone that I had in the freezer left over from Easter dinner. Most of the time when you save ham bones to make soups with, you leave a little bit more meat on them. But I guess I did a pretty good job cooking this ham because it was pretty much picked clean. And not in my house, but in most houses, this bone would have been tossed in the trash or given to your dog. Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Scooter, let's not get into a debate about what bones you should or you shouldn't feed your dog. I was simply making a suggestion. What you do with your bone is up to you. You are the owner of your boner. But there's still a ton of flavor in this bone and the joint from the little bit of meat, the fat, the collagen, the cartilage, and the marrow on the bones to flavor our soup. And you can use any kind of leftover bones that you have. It doesn't have to be a ham bone. And from here on out, once you add the bones that you like or have on hand, there is no recipe. Add whatever you have. I had a whole onion left and a little bit of celery that I cut up into bite-sized pieces. Now I did not add or know what the heck this is, but I did not add it, but I'm going to consider extra protein. Now to our somewhat living soup, we added some bay leaves, granulated garlic, and a lot of it, dried minced garlic, granulated onion, black pepper, and salt. And you want to be careful with the salt due to the salt in the ham, if that's the bone you're using. Now turn the heat on high, bring it up to a boil, reduce the heat, and cover, and let it simmer for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. After 2 hours, we've gotten just about all the flavor we can out of the bone, and of course you could have roasted the bone before putting it into the water for even more depth of flavor. So now remove the bone and pick off any remaining fat or meat you like off the bone, and of course throw it back into the broth. You can already see how the bone is fortified in the broth. See, there's a lot of flavor and substance in that bone that in most cases would have been thrown out. Now I'm adding some whole peeled tomatoes. Soups, stews, and chili, I have to have tomatoes in. Now if you're adding them to a soup or a stew that's going to be cooking for a long time, they'll break down themselves. But we helped it along with a masher because this soup isn't going to take very long to cook. I add a bunch of kale. And kale is good for you. It's got a lot of fiber and vitamin vitamins. Add as much or as little kale as you like, but if you like a lot of kale, add twice as much as you think you'll need because it'll cook down. Now add 1 pound of uncooked rice. You can rinse your rice if you like, but I didn't. And then give it a good mix. Now add 1 pound of uncooked dried lentils. You can rinse your lentils if you like, I didn't. And there's also no reason to pre-soak your lentils as they'll cook pretty fast. So if you plan on using a dried bean or a legume, you need to plan accordingly, because in most cases you'll need to pre-soak them. And then I had some more kale, so I said what the hell, and I added more kale. Now give it all a good mix and turn the heat up to high. And then add 1 pound of frozen mixed vegetables. Again, this is what I had on hand, and this is what I'm using. If you have fresh vegetables, that would be even better. To give it all one more good mix to get everything incorporated, bring it up to a boil, cover, reduce the heat to medium-low, and let it simmer for 20 to 25 minutes until everything's done to your liking. After 25 minutes, everything is done and multiplied in size and created a very hearty, substantial, nutritious, and delicious meal to feed you and your family. So I hope that this video shows you, the people, that just because times are hard, you don't have enough money in your pocket to buy your family a fancy dinner every night, or in some extreme cases, no money for dinner at all. If you have the determination, imagination, you can feed your family a hearty, nutritious, and delicious dinner every single night. If you have any good struggling recipes you'd like to share, please share them in the comments. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you soon.